The Mary Celeste, an Unsolved Mystery from History by Jane Yolen. When I grow up, I want to be a detective, just like my dad. He says I was born curious, which is just what a detective needs to be. What I'm most curious about now is my father's file of old mysteries that have never been solved. They have baffled people for years. Dad calls these cases open, but I call them history mysteries, and I am determined to figure them out. For each mystery, I read as much as I can about it. I keep a notebook in which I highlight the most important clues. Sometimes I draw a map and a timeline, and I always keep a list of important words that are special to the case to help me understand what has happened. The Mary Celeste is about a ship whose crew disappeared when they were on the high seas more than 120 years ago. The crew was never found. Though lots of people have ideas or theories about what might have happened, no one is sure. But Dad says no mystery is impossible to solve as long as you have enough clues. This is how the story goes. A brisk December wind filled the great sails of the Dei Gratia. She had left New York on November 15th, 1872, to cross the cold Atlantic with a cargo of petroleum. It was a long trip, many days on an empty ocean, and nothing to look at but the thin line between the sea and sky. Early in the afternoon of December 4th, December 5th in sea time, Seaman John Johnson, alert at the wheel, spotted a smudge on the horizon. He called out excitedly, "Captain Morehouse, sir, there's something coming toward us off the port bow." Petroleum is crude oil before it has been refined for use. Seaman is a sailor. Sea time and shore time are measured 12 hours apart because sea time is counted from noon when the sun stands directly overhead. Port is the left side of a ship. The bow is the forward part of the ship. De gratia is Latin for by the grace of God. The ship was a Nova Scotian brigantine owned by George F. Miller of Bear River, Nova Scotia. Its captain was David Reed Morehouse. Captain Morehouse looked through his spyglass. Even though the smudge was miles away, he could tell it was a ship heading in their direction. But as she came closer, he saw the ship moving slowly, oddly, running aimlessly before the wind. Only 3 sails were still set. 2 had been blown away, and 1 was lying loose. The rest of the sails were furled. Several of the De Gratia's crew gathered at the rail to watch the oncoming brig. They all knew something was wrong. "Get me Mr. DeVoe," ordered the captain. A seaman went below deck to rouse the first mate from his berth. By the time DeVoe joined the captain, the other ship was near. "Look," Morehouse said, handing the mate his spyglass. DeVoe looked and saw no one on deck. "But," he said, "they fly no flags of distress. Perhaps they lie drunken below." At the wheel, Johnson laughed. "They wouldn't if they had a captain like ours." Captain Morehouse laughed too, then said, "Let us hail them." They ran up the flags that offered help. Minutes went by, and they got no reply. When they sailed closer still, the captain called out through his speaking trumpet. He was greeted by a strange silence.